Hello and welcome. You're viewing the Citizens Journalist podcast, Mesa County Compass, that brings you the news that you can use from a different point of view. I'm Ruth.
I'm Lisa.
And together we are Mesa County Compass. Our goal is to create an informed, current, active citizenry armed with the facts. We will be covering what's new to you, what it means to you, what you can do about it, and provide you access to the decision makers when we can. Good afternoon. We're here with Mesa County Compass, and Jason Bias is with us today. He's going to be speaking about two things that he's quite involved with. First of all, he is the founder of Turning Point USA at CMU here in town, and he's also going to be representing Rocky Mountain Voice. He is the ambassador for Rocky Mountain Voice. So we'll be learning a little bit about both of those things today. Welcome, Jason.
Thank you,
Ruth.
Ruth.
Any other events that are going on that everybody needs to know about it, too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
He's got his little ear to the ground.
I try to.
Yeah. So, do you want to start with, let's start with Rocky Mountain Voice. I saw a little bit about it when I was at the state convention on the back of the paper that they put out, but I don't know too much about it. And we just saw them the other day when we had our Constitution event, and they were there, and so we need to know who they are, what they do,
Who they reach, where their reach goes. That kind of thing.
Absolutely. Rocky Mountain Voice, it's an unabashedly right-of-center, pro-Colorado news source. We're focused on Colorado specifically, and the citizens of Colorado, and how legislative has been affecting them and their daily personal lives. We believe in the rugged founding and honoring that of Colorado, right? And shaping the next generation of young conservatives to trust the values of our party, essentially.
and what would you say that is? When you say rugged.
Yeah, rugged is how we came, right? Colorado was founded during the mining, the manufacturing industry, when all that was blowing up in the late 1800s. And when I say honoring our rugged individualism is embracing the fact that you have to work hard to get to where you need to in life. Things just aren't handed to you. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, lately what we've been seeing are the issues and how it's been impacting our workforce and how it's been making it challenging for parents and for citizens to thrive in this economy. So not necessarily national headlines, but more of state headlines, right? Mm-hmm. Heidi Ganahl, she ran for governor in 2022 against Jared Polis.
Right.
She's the founder of this organization, so I report directly to her. And I'm more of the ambassador side, right? So I'm in charge of attending local events, getting our name out, handing out flyers, business cards, swag. So hats, pins, stickers. But aside from that, we have two reporters out here on the Western Slope. Jen Schumann, she's one of them. Mm-hmm. She attends the events that I'm attending, and she does the writing on it, right? She speaks about what the speakers are trying to portray, getting their message out, and then she correlates with our director of publishing, Brian Porter. Okay. Really good team. I'm unfortunately in charge of all 22 counties in CD3, so it's a lot. It's a big jurisdiction. Mm-hmm. With that being said, I'm not able to travel at all events and attend them all. So I rely on a lot of volunteers that want to come help out and that can attend other events that I can't attend. Mm-hmm. And it's been pretty fun. It's been really fun just working with a really good group of people and getting the news out about Colorado, right? Because unfortunately, when you listen to mass media and mainstream media, they're only going to tell you what matters about the southern border, which that does matter. I'm not saying it doesn't. Right. But I think Colorado citizens want to know what's happening in their backyard before they realize what's happening throughout the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they want to know how this affects them. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's what they're listening for and listening to. So it's based out of Woodland Park, is that correct?
Out of the Front Range. I'm not familiar where Woodland Park is, but yes, over in the CD4 area, Denver area, pardon me, a lot of our directors and head workers live in Colorado Springs and in Jefferson County.
Mm-hmm. So Jason, how did you get involved?
Yeah, Andrea Heights, president of the school board here, she reached out to myself and my wife, and she said, hey, I think one of you guys would be really interested in this organization that's going on. If you have some free time, basically it's doing what you already do, right? Attending local events, talking to people. It's like my passion. But instead, you just have to wear a Rocky Mountain Voice shirt and hand out some flyers and talk about it. And I was like, okay, cool, yeah, sign me up. Little did I know, the founder of this organization was a really big headliner, and I'm really fond of her. I'm biased towards her, if you may say.
You're punny.
Thank you. They told me to utilize my last name for the next campaign. Right? Be biased towards your community, biased towards your people. So that'll play out later in the future.
Right.
But Heidi, she's really smart and she's really passionate. And when she lost her race, she didn't give up on the people, right? Her next step was making sure that people knew what was going on. And just being a part of that is very, very awesome.
Now, is everything from Rocky Mountain Voice print, or is any of it radio or Facebook, or how do they get the word out? And how do people know about it?
Yeah, so
besides you.
We don't necessarily do print, right? Now, other newspapers do write about us occasionally, but we're mainly focused on the social media aspect, on the online world with it.
Okay.
Heidi, she attends a lot of podcasts along with Rebecca. She's my coordinator. And I mean, me right here on this podcast, that's kind of how you're getting the word out, right? Knocking doors, handing out goodie bags to people. Cool thing about Rocky Mountain Voice is the subscription's free. So if you just type in RockyMountainVoice.com, right at the top, there will be a little subscribe button. Click it. It just takes your first, last name, your email, and if you want to put your phone number there as well. Okay. So just those little informations, and then you'll get daily content into your email about the publishing that we do, and we do release at least 1 to 2 stories a day, bare minimum. Sometimes it's more. Depending on what's going on, right, in the state. And that's like the best way for people to keep up to date with it, right? Because then you're not focused on what Fox News, CBS, ABC, CNN, what they all have to say. You actually get kind of a organic news source.
And local. Busy. Yeah.
And it's all truth-based. That's one thing that I do need to get out there. Like, none of it is false information. None of it's fake. It's all truth. And we rely on our information by attending these local events.
Right.
By getting our reporters out there and writing down what's going on.
So actually doing the FaceTime.
Exactly, yeah. Doing the groundwork.
So it sounds really tough. How is anybody paid for doing this, or how do you fund what you do? Yeah,
so mainly a lot of our workers are volunteers. Right? I'm lucky enough to be on a paid salary with it, but I also have a big jurisdiction and a lot of responsibilities, so that's why. We rely on our funding through donors, right? That's kind of above my jurisdiction.
Right.
But it's all people contributing and wanting to get this news source themselves and spread it as well. So that's how we kind of rely on our financial side of it. I wish I knew more about it.
You're fine. We'll just go straight to Heidi. We'll do it.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll bring her on the podcast and say, all right.
That's what
Jason
recommend.
knew some things, but we want more.
Well, on that note, let's turn back and go to Turning Point USA. How did you get involved with that? Why?
Yeah, so when I ran for county commissioner, everyone was telling me to reach out to Turning Point USA, right? Have them help you, get your name out there. You're young. That's where they focus on, is young individuals. Well, when I tried, I wasn't getting anywhere. No one was answering. I was also reaching out to their corporate side and their national Turning Point USA. And unless you're kind of part of the organization, the likeliness of them getting back to you is very slim to none. But that's just with all big corporations, not just Turning Point USA.
Right.
So when I lost my race, I was inspired. Hey, everyone wants to see Turning Point USA here in Mesa County. How do I do that? Well, I just decided to do a chapter here at Colorado Mesa University, and that was kind of the starting point of it. It was towards the tail end of the semester, of last semester, so in late April, early May, 2 weeks till finals, and no one was really interested, right, in helping. They're focused on their studies and getting better and making sure that they can pass the semester and qualify for financial aid next semester.
Right. Exactly.
So it was really hard, but I ended up getting our little local constitution, because you have to have a constitution for a board. I got that set up, got it approved with the college, and then that's when the corporate and the national side started reaching back out to me like, hey, we'll help you with this.
Oh, good.
And yeah, it was very nice. It was like, okay.
They recognized you. Yay.
Yeah. To help promote them.
Of course.
Yeah.
So give us an idea of what Turning Point is.
And what you do.
Okay. Well, I'm currently the president of Turning Point USA. And I reach out to students, and I do a lot of activism. So we do local pollings with the big old sign. The last one we did last week was, do you support open borders? Yes or no? So we kind of try to stay away from the Republican and Democrat polarity, right? Because we are a 501c3 nonprofit. So legally we can't tell you who to endorse, or we can't endorse candidates and tell you who to vote. But what we can do is tell you that the left will speak lies into your ear anytime they get, any chance they get. The right believes in capitalism, right? Believes in free markets and the system that America has always thrived upon. We believe that the Constitution is the most important document in the United States, and aside from that, in the world. Turning Point USA is a Christ-based political organization, right? So we get all of our ideologies from the Bible and how God wants us to live governmentally wise. And we coordinate that with our students, and we try to educate them the best they can. Right now, I will say I'm proud to have the most students registered at Turning Point USA than any other student organization at CMU.
Oh, great.
Nice.
Which isn't too awesome, right? Because kids my age, they don't like to join organizations. So
Right, they kind of tend to shy away from anything that is, I won't say corporate based. I want to say just anything that's
Structured.
Yeah, that's
that
the word I was looking for.
Says that we're going to have meetings on this date and you need to come, and that's odd. What do you think's caused that move away?
The
Because
beer,
it's the same thing with adults.
the beer, the partying, the women, the men, all of their personal beliefs. When the enemy's trying to whisper into their ear, they listen to that instead of what morally should be correct. And they group themselves with people like that, right? Because they don't want to feel like an outcast. And so they find people with their ideologies and then they partner with them. It's really hard. It really is. So that's why we do our activism and our pollings, and we attend our events with our table, and everyone loves Charlie Kirk. Most people have heard of him.
Right.
And he is the founder of this organization.
Right.
He started it in 2012 from his garage, his parents' garage. Just standing out there with a microphone and a little boom box, and soon enough more people were coming out into his garage and listening to him, and then soon after that he blew up. But it's similar to running a campaign, right? You start out, no one knows who you are, so you have to get your name out there, and then you have to figure out how to, that next step, right? How to get your name out to everyone, not just the few people that have heard of you. And so that's kind of the issue we're running to at CMU, is the outer circle, right? The community, the people that aren't at CMU, they know who we are. They're really thrived that we have a Turning Point USA here. The people in the school call us racists, misogynists,
Of course.
white supremacists. So trying to battle those and get more students into our organization, that's kind of the challenging part, right? But the foundation that we have right now, we have all of our officers filled, all 5 positions, and then we have 15 more attendees that come and go, and they help out with our polling and our tablings, and so it's pretty fun to watch. But I would really hope.
It must be nice to have. I would think that going into college myself, I would have liked to have had a conservative place to go, because I might have tried to fit in with the party group, but
Right.
I would have liked to have had people that thought like I did.
So
Absolutely.
do you feel like the college supports you, maybe the college president or the political science department, or do you feel like you have support from the school?
Absolutely. One of our doctors at CMU, Dr. Tim Casey, he's been there. He's actually the professor who's taught there the longest, right, who's still active. So he's been teaching since, I believe, 92. So almost 32 years. or is 32
Long
years.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very long time.
Well,
And he's
that's
really
just
cool.
yesterday, 1992. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
That can't possibly
you got to
be 32
remember the
years.
age of who you're grouping with here.
I
Yeah.
apologize.
Who you hang out with?
Well, you ladies don't look a day over beautiful. So.
Oh, there you go. We were just fishing for that, so good job.
I
Good
took the
job
bait.
catching it. Yeah. So then, and you're going to school. Are you still working at Texas Roadhouse too, or
No,
Oh, good.
that
Shoo.
yeah, that ended towards the middle of my campaign. They felt like I was kind of bringing politics into the workplace, which I would argue that I wasn't. But
I'd argue
it's kind of
that
hard.
Politics is every day,
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
So how do you suggest that, it's not just kids we need to get active, but everybody we need to get active? What would your strategy be to ignite the people of Grand Junction? Because we do have a huge election coming up,
Yep.
and every single position that's being run for is important. So how do you motivate the base?
Quit being lazy. Go out, knock some doors, knock on your neighbors' doors, right? It starts with the small community you have. And I understand some neighbors are really rough and you don't want to live next to them. But it's all important on being on the same foundation, right? Understanding what both candidates, not just the presidential, but local candidates as well. Greg Heitz mentioned that local elections are the most important because that's what has jurisdiction on your own personal lives, right?
Right.
How's your trash getting taken out? Who's controlling your education of your children? Who's paving your roads? All that's
Right.
done at the local level. We're lucky enough that our local elections are landing on a presidential election this year because then there'll be more input, there'll be more voters. However, it all takes phone calls, door knocking, social media posts, right? I always tell everyone, like, don't be silent and don't be scared to share your ideas. Go out there, be bold. And aside from politically, like, that's what Jesus wants us to do, is go across and speak his word to all nations and be bold in the eyes of Christ. So take your religious views and bring it politically, right? Go out, be bold, say, hey, you should vote for this candidate because of this reason right here. You should not vote for this candidate because of the past things that have happened here. And there's two ways to run a campaign. You can either run it on fear and how the past is, or you can run it on hope and change and how the future needs to be. That's the best correlation is Trump's election right now. He's running on the fear of how it's been operating the last 4 years, which it is scary. I mean, I would argue everyone's pockets are a lot thinner than they were 4 years ago. But Obama ran on hope and change, and it ended up working for him. So there's no right way to do it, but there are two different ways to do it. So it's all about getting your word out and talking to your family members, having them reach out, shooting a small text to everyone in your phone and tell them to vote no on Proposition 131.
Right.
Whatever it happens to be.
Right.
Our problem is, at this particular time, because our ballot is going to be huge this time, trying to get people to understand the importance, number one. Number two, understand what those amendments say, because what you see isn't necessarily what you get. And so that's going to be something that's going to be a challenge. Do you have any kind of a solution for that kind of thing?
No, and I wish I did. I really wish I
like
did.
that. No.
I think educating yourself is the best way to do it, right? Unfortunately, when you do your ballot initiatives and you start campaigning on issues rather than candidates,
Right.
issue campaigns, you're able to formulate the question that you want on the ballot to appeal to other people. If someone's going to tell you, hey, we need more protection in our police force, well, of course, everyone's going to vote yes, because we do need protection. We want our streets to be safe, our neighborhoods to be safe.
Right.
But inside those ballot measures, you don't see how much taxes are going to increase. You don't see where the funding is going to come from and where it goes, right? Whether it be to raises, whether it be to...
More boots on the street.
Yeah.
Whether it goes to making a bigger building.
Bigger guns.
More training. There could be a lot of things in there.
Exactly. But
So, because I think that is a big thing, and I think maybe what we need to do is look at sources for people to look at, because I think, again, you get overwhelmed with information. There's just so much out there. And one that I saw that I thought was good, and it's because I'm conservative, it was tooliberal.com, and it's put out by Daily Wire, and it just gives you some ideas. So what's one place you would suggest people go?
Well, that's kind of where I was going too, because I just subscribed to Daily Wire.
Yeah.
So
you can't steal my idea. You got to come up with your own.
Daily Wire is good.
Yeah.
I do know that the last place you want to go to is our Daily Sentinel. That is totally non-informative, if you will. I won't say that it's bad. I just won't say that you get any information from it. So that would be the last place I would go. I know that there are various places in town that are trying to work on getting people educated. I think we have one this Sunday at the Masonic Hall here in town that's going to be from like 3 to 5 or something like that. I'm going to be training you on what these amendments do say and how you can explain it to other people, whether you don't explain it leaning right or left, you explain what they say. And that will be something that people can get into and listen to and perhaps learn something. I'm intending on going. I know that because I don't know what they say. So
yeah.
Well, and Jason, you know of a local debate that's coming up soon, and who's debating and where and when?
So it's the Club 20 debates, and it's going to be hosted Saturday all the way from 12 to about 8 at night. The first few hours are going to be local candidates, right? So our county commissioners, essentially all the candidates on the western slope, right? So not just Mesa County's county commissioners, but Delta's as well. And then towards the evening, we're going to have our congressional debates, and that's what's going to take most of the time from about 5 to 8. That's going to be hosted at the new theater that CMU just built this year. The name of it's like passing my head right now.
So it's not Robinson.
Nope.
No.
Robinson.
It's the new one. It's wonderful. And what is the name of it?
I think it
starts with an A.
Yeah, Astoria.
Astoria.
Yes.
Yes, and it's gorgeous, by the way. Everybody ought to go see that, whether they go to this or not. But
just pop in, look at it.
Just pop in, look at it. Yeah,
I'm done. So, how much are the tickets?
So the tickets, I believe, are $25, but if you're a CMU student, you actually get to go for free. So you just need to bring your math card, talk to one of our political science directors there. We have 3 of them, Dr. Golub, Dr. Casey, and Dr. Oberly. Sorry, 4, Dr. Elliott Jennings as well. All really cool people. You can reach out. They're really open to the public. I believe Dr. Golub actually serves on the Fruita Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, nice.
Dr. Casey works with not the River District, but the kind of sanitation plant that we have out here.
Persico?
Thank you. He delves into rural politics, so that's kind of where his focus is. Okay. Dr. Golub's focus is on American politics, state and local. So everyone's in their own different realms, but I would argue that all of them are pretty conservative. None of them are really far left. None of them try to push down their ideologies down your throat. So it took a while to get that idea that they're all conservative. But after meeting with a lot of them and having them help me and tell me where I need to go into my school career and how it's going to benefit my future political career, it's been really helpful that they care about their students like that.
Very good.
It's great.
Very good.
So anything else, Ruth, that you have or questions or anything you want to tell us?
Yeah, I don't have anything in particular. I just wanted to get out the fact what Turning Point USA really was and how it was and where it's being held. And then I wanted about the Rocky Mountain Voice because that's something that is new to me. You had heard it at Assembly. I was unable to go. So it's new to me.
Well, and the other thing that I think that it was from Rocky Mountain Voice that they just had, because I know a lot of people won't go, they can, but maybe they would read, and I think it was Rocky Mountain Voice that did a pros and cons on Adam Frisch versus Jeff Hurd. I'm not sure that's where it came from, but I did receive an email, and I think anytime you can put out what are their stands on policies so people can compare, and if it's short enough, maybe they'll read it.
Yeah. I don't know much about that. That must have been under my scenes. But they're really good at getting the word out, and a lot of our Republican and conservative candidates do support this organization. So we're doing freedom rallies all over the state. We're doing rumbles, I would say.
Huh? Okay,
Yes.
What's a rumble?
A rumble is essentially like a freedom rally, but it's more RMV based, right? So freedom rallies more on the right side, we're just more on the conservative side. So there's a separation of political scales. There's your Republican to Democrat, but then there's your conservatism to liberalism. Right? So they're two different segues into politics, and we kind of focus on the 501c3 safe one, the conservative to liberalism one.
Yeah.
But we had Archuleta attend, we had Fabricatori attend, Boebert comes and speaks a lot. Not much from Jeff Hurd, but we do get a lot of our Republican candidates coming out and doing speeches and rumbling up the crowd. And when they're done, they go out to our little booths and see our signs, and they get subscribed to Rocky Mountain Voice, because a lot of people don't really know how to do the social stuff. So we do it for them. We get their name, their number, and their email, and then we rely on them to open it up. Sometimes it will go to your spam, but that's because big tech hates conservative movements. So.
Oh, yes, of course they do.
Yeah. Anytime they they'll just put it in your spam email, or they'll just block it completely.
Right.
But the fact that we're all free, that's like huge.
That is huge.
It's
That
huge.
is huge.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you've been watching Mesa County Compass. This is the facts as we see them, the truth as we know it. You decide and vote and get involved. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.